We're back for the start of the second half here in Park Talton. Trim leading 1-8 at half time, and we'll be underway momentarily now. Stephen Masterson just going through a few formalities. Not sure. I was waiting on Crowley actually. Better not start it without the Ratoath keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was just late coming out of the dressing room there and collecting a few slitters here on the bench perhaps. Or is he just putting on his helmet? So very relaxed. We saw him there in the first half. He'll be disappointed with that mistake, but then another few balls came in and very assured, very confident coming out of it. And we say goalkeepers are a little bit of a different breed, and maybe that's a key element that he has, that he could just put that out of his mind, focus on the rest of his game and not be worried and not to be put out by that mistake in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that short delay, we will be underway. 1-8 Ratoath have it all to do. 6 points they trail by, and Trim on the attack straight away from the resumption, and they have Cole running towards goal, and he's well snuffed out on this occasion by Ratoath back there. Good defending, and long ball played in towards Bobby O'Brien. Need to see a lot more from Bobby O'Brien, and many more for Ratoath. It's James Toher who has dictated plenty of what's gone on in that first half, back defending stoutly once more, plays it up the line, but I think that's just going to go harmlessly out over the end line, and Martin Dawson is there to make the call. No changes at the interval, I don't think, from either side, so it's as you were for the start of the second half, with Ratoath 6 behind Trim, and that ball is just shoveled forward, kicked forward by Andrews, the goal scorer for Trim. Bit of crack at half time with his dad, Chivers, Fergal Lynch from the Meath Chronicle, saying he was going to put it down as an own goal. I don't think Chivers would let that happen.
No, Chivers said he's not having that at all. He says his son is there for the first goal scorer, even though he was saying that if there was any odds in him being first goal scorer, it would have been about 400 to 1. So maybe he's not that confident of his son being a prolific goal scorer here today.
No, he wouldn't be renowned as that, in fairness. He's a hard-working, industrious type of player. But rather fortuitously got that first goal. Could yet be the difference between the sides. We shall see. Ratoath have it all to do. That's a lovely ball played forward by Bobby O'Brien. Now Dahi McGowan has a little bit of open road in front of him. Can he get in on goal? He shrugs his man off. McGowan blocked in and is saved. Still there. They're still chopping at it. Oh, it still is there. And McGowan was the one who had the last chance. There was countless amount of opportunities. Keane Rogers was in there. Dahi McGowan had the first chance. Gavin McGowan had the last one. Again, the credit will go to Charlie Ennis because he made the first stop column.
Absolutely. There was bodies everywhere there, bodies in the ground. Lads pulling on all sorts of angles there. Perhaps Ratoath just a little bit unlucky that they couldn't connect with one of those pulls on the ground. But it was Gavin McGowan with the final shot. It did come off a Trim man, and it is out for a 65. But a better start from Ratoath, Davy. They're getting a bit of change out of that half forward line, which they probably maybe Trim are dominating around their Trim half back line in the first half. So maybe that's an area they focused on. We need to get better around there. We need to get some ball in there. And good work there from Dahi McGowan, taking on a man and getting a shot into the box. Yeah,
and it's going to be O'Hanrahan from the resultant 65. Not the best of connections, but it doesn't matter because it's gone between the sticks. It was a really unusual one and a strange sort of trajectory on this later column.
It was, yeah. Normally Podge is a very true striker of the ball. Maybe in that one he didn't catch it right, but maybe that's a sign of how good he is a striker of the ball, that he can not strike it that well and it still goes over the bar.
Yeah, and a good start to the second half for Ratoath, and you felt they needed the opening score. They've got it. 1-8 now. 3 minutes are gone in the second half, and it's picked up by Dimmy Higgins now. Higgins escapes the attentions of Podge O'Hanrahan and then plays a lovely ball long into space where it's picked up by Cullen. So direct. He's got one thing on his mind, Mikey Cullen. He cuts inside. Still Cullen goes. Oh, he bats it towards goal. Advantage was being played. I just think he lost control of it at the very last stage, Colin, and that was what put the chance away, really.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Maybe he didn't think he'd get a full swing away. The ball dropped to the ground. He did get some contact on it, but not as much as he would have liked. And Garreau Crowley in the goal there was just able to pick it up and avert that chance at goal. But he was fouled in the meantime, and it is a yellow card. Maybe a little bit of a harsh yellow card, but I think Stephen Masterson might have seen a stick going across Mikey Cullen. And when that happens, Davey, if you get any contact with the helmet or the hurl, it is actually automatically a yellow card. So Stephen Masterson obeying by that rule today.
I think it was Donald Rogers who possibly picked up the card on that occasion, so it is going to be a free for Trim and a chance for them to reply with James Murray from the free. He just launches it over the bar. No drama whatsoever for James Murray. He continues on his merry way, and Trim continue on theirs. They re-establish the 6-point lead which they had at half time, and 4 minutes into the second half it's now 1-9 to Trim, 6 points to Ratoath. Long puck out goes over the head of Dylan Farrell on this occasion, and it's loose and available once more for Ratoath to try and get some joy here, and it's picked up by Bobby O'Brien. Bobby O'Brien instinctively hits that goalwards, but it's just going to carry out over the end line and wide. I think Ratoath need to be a little bit more patient, Colm. They seem to be trying to force the issue a little bit too much, and with that breeze you have to be careful, you have to play it right as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are doing well, like I said, to get that possession around the half forward line, but once they get it then they shouldn't panic too much, and maybe they're just trying to drive the ball into the inside forward line, but maybe they need to look for the simple pass. There were Trim men around Bobby O'Brien on that occasion. There has to be a Ratoath man free somewhere, so maybe, like you said, a bit more patience.
Cullen forward to Cole. Here's Cole. He was well hooked. Absolutely brilliant hook in the end, and that's surely going to be a free out now. And it's no damage done because Niall McLaren picks it up, but that was a terrific bit of defending, possibly by Conor McGill back there, to hook Cole, because Cole had one thing on his mind.
Absolutely, and I think that's an underrated skill of the game there, Davey. Just that patience to say, sometimes people might say, oh, he's in front of me, I'm going to foul him, but great patience there by Conor McGill to say, I'm in touch with him here, I'm close enough, I can get this hook. Executed a hook. Fantastic play by Conor McGill.
So he has got 2 sideline cuts in the first half. If he gets this one, I think it would beat all, because he's got a monsoon basically blowing into him, and he struck it brilliantly well again, but it's just tailed off to the right and gone wide. He's getting some purchase on these cuts.
It's really incredible. It's a fantastic skill to watch, really, and like you said, Davey, there's a really, really strong breeze, a lot of rain coming in against him that time, so he mightn't have the same distance, so he might have been forcing that one a little bit, but I really like to see him get another few chances, see if he can score a few more.
Yeah, absolutely. Joey Cole feeds it forward now to David Murtagh. He's been quiet, David Murtagh. He's trying to bundle his way through. He just tosses that one away. Mikey Cullen is there. Cullen still wrestling for possession, and then soccer style plays it forward, but Conor McGill caught that instinctively. Good play by Conor McGill back there. Firefighting at the moment. Porrick Byrne now. A little bit of space for O'Hanrahan to move into, and he's crossing the 45. He's got no real great attention from the markers, so O'Hanrahan can put it right between the posts and get another score for Ratoath. 1-9 to 7.
Absolutely, yeah. Important score there for Ratoath. They have that bit of possession, they have that purple patch. It's important they get those scores on the board. Podger Hanrahan, you wouldn't doubt him from that angle. Really good, calm play there. Just tapped it over, didn't focus on driving it over or anything like that. Just struck it over the bar. Great score. Great
score indeed, and the gap is down to 5 again. Really intelligent young fellas underneath the scoreboard, getting a bit of shelter as well, and that scoreboard could potentially be a busy one in the second half. Here's James Tower trying to get it moving for Trim once more. Douglas involved, played off then inside towards Cole with the yellow helmet. Cole, elusive as ever, plays it off then towards Murtagh, crossfield ball, good, stick in, and Douglas is there to wrestle it back. Oh, it just didn't go to hand. He just needed to be a little bit more delicate in getting that to Mikey Cullen, and possibly there could have been another goal chance on. There's a bit of off the ball shenanigans between McGowan and Jerry Duane, and that's a good spot again by Stephen Masterson to see the trip on Jerry Duane. It's going to be a free out for Trim, 1-9 to 7.
And that's a big one for Jerry Duane there. He's had his hands full with Gavin McGowan there in the first half, but he was out in front, forces the foul there, but good period of play there. And I think Alan Douglas, he worked so hard to get that ball, but he got a touch there and actually took it out of the path of his colleague there as well, so he was almost trying too hard there, but a let off for Ratoath, but Trim back in the attack again.
Yeah, and it's Toher who takes the free, and wrestled back by James Murray, and James Murray all in one motion. Give him that type of space, he'll crucify you time and time again. And Murray adds another one to his personal haul, and he re-establishes that 6-point buffer once more.
Absolutely, lovely bit of skill from him just to rob it off the head there. I think possibly of Dara Kelly, and he's on form, baby. He's in such good form. You just knew that was going over the bar. You knew he was going to strike it well. So really, Ratoath need to clamp down on James Murray, get physical with him, maybe keep him off the ball, because he's really on form. If he gets that sort of space again, he's going to make hay.
Absolutely, he's having some game. Here's James Tower from a free midway between his own 45 and 65. Elects to bat it down the line, and that telepathic understanding with Douglas once again comes to the fore. It was a good block down in the end, and it's just going to be ushered away for a 65 and a chance for James Murray to add another one here. There's 6 between the sides, and Ratoath haven't really made any inroads into that Trim lead, and all the time is sort of ebbing away, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with you. They need to get on the scoreboard a little bit more, but I actually do think they're doing better, Davey. They're getting a bit tighter at the back there. I think Ben McGowan is coming into the game a bit more. I think it might have been Ben who made that hook there previously. I think I might have given Conor McGill the credit, and they're getting a block in there. You see Dougie block down. Unfortunately, that one went out for a 65 that I'm sure James Murray will punish, but we're doing better, but it needs to tell on the scoreboard.
Such a true strike by James Murray, absolutely brilliant, faced with all the wind and rain, but it makes no odds at all. He's got a plethora of scores from frees, 65, sideline cuts from play. He's got a nice array of scores, Colin.
Yeah, and we can't underestimate the quality of striking it takes, because it is such a wet ball. Again, it probably doesn't come across on the camera. I was outside there but about half time, Davey. The rain really is coming down hard, and that wind is very strong, so to be able to drive that ball into the wind, into the rain, it's fantastic striking from Murray.
Here's an effort coming in from Donal Rogers, but that's again gone disappointingly out to the left, and it's gone wide, and the score remains 111-7 now. There's 7 between the sides, and we have played 10 minutes in this second half, so 20 minutes left of normal time. Michael Connolly deliberating down in front of us, and James Tower just down on one knee. He's not proposing, I don't think, Colin. He's in a little bit of trouble.
He is in a little bit of trouble, but interestingly, it seems to be the other leg that he's complaining about, because he has that wrapping around his right calf. It looks to be just getting the knee moved around a little bit, maybe just a little bit of stiffness. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll get up and continue for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's been very impressive so far. Interesting to see Joycey, selector with Trim down there, barking out instructions as ever. Was a great footballer and hurler, probably still is for the club, and does play a little bit of second team on Premier football nowadays in his latter years, shall we say, the twilight years of his career. So it's going to be a restart for Trim and Charlie Ennis to launch it over towards the far side, where James Murray makes the run and knocks it down well. Good play by Murray once more towards Dimmy Higgins. Higgins, nice ball inside to Cullen. He takes up that familiar position, Cullen, and you just know what he's going to do, but it still takes some marking. On that occasion, he didn't have full control as to what he was doing, so Ratoath can move it through the hands. Ward is involved. That's a lovely little flick on towards McGowan. McGowan trying to usher that into space. Jerry Dwan was there, and Jerry Dwan trying to wrestle off the attentions of Gavin McGowan, who's still putting pressure on, and Gavin McGowan is trying to get his hands on the ball. Trim deep inside their own full back line, and it's picked up well by Toher, and he clears his lines over towards the near hand touchline, where it's attempted to be kept in by David Murtagh. Murtagh well wrestled back on that occasion by Ratoath, possibly a free coming in. Referee said there was nothing doing, and possession up for grabs once more, and then it's fed forward once again to Andrews. Lovely ball from left to right going across the pitch. It's 3 against 1 in favour of Ratoath, and they do manage to win possession back. Now play it up towards the number 12 Porrick Byrne, but he's relinquished possession once again. Andrews is trying to make the run across to get that ball, but Ratoath have it. It's so messy out there, and it's very, very hard, and players losing their footing left, right and centre. I think this will just suit Trim though, because we've played nearly 30 minutes in the second half, and there's still 7 between the sides. Bobby O'Brien, and again Bobby O'Brien is well marshalled by Kieran O'Rourke on this occasion. Long ball towards Cullen. Cullen for once isn't in front, but he's surely sitting on the man. You'd imagine that's a free out, my word. Stephen Masterson still letting it play. I think he's just going to throw that one in, and I think it'll be a bit of a result for Trim. There is going to be a change for Ratoath. That coming on is the familiar figure of a certain Brian McMahon. He's going to come on and try and influence this like for like change with Bobby O'Brien. Yeah,
and this could be the spark maybe that Ratoath need. Bring Brian McMahon. He has that bit of pace, he has that bit of dynamism about him. He's a man who could get a goal. I think Ratoath though as well, they could maybe bring Jack McGowan out of the centre forward spot, and because he's not really involved in the game too much, maybe bring him out to midfield where he's played a lot of hurling, get him a bit of freedom. I see he's maybe playing wing forward there away from James Tower a little bit, so I think try to get Jack McGowan involved in the game a little bit more.
Absolutely, and Gavin making the run for that one. Jerry Dwan was there stride for stride once again, and that's a lovely little flick up onto the hurl of James Toru. Strides forward, real purpose and intent, plays it off to Murray. Nice little 1-2 with Toher. Blocked down well on this occasion, and Ratoath have it back. They need to try and make something happen really quickly. That ball is just hit really long to Charlie Ennis. Oh my word, it almost happened again. Charlie Ennis was, in fairness, he recovered extremely well, but what is it about that goal?
I do not know. Two very reassured goalkeepers, lads who eat those balls up normally, but we saw it in the first half there with Garrod Crowley and Charlie Ennis, a Meath goalkeeper as well. Normally you'd handle them no bother, but maybe the greasy ball as well might have caused that slip.
Yeah, James Murray has been fouled. He was swung around, and certainly going to be a free for Trim. Leading by 7 points. They have Ratoath where they want them, and we're about to enter the final quarter of the game as well. Ratoath probably need a goal or maybe even two at this stage, Colin, because it just hasn't happened for them so far in this game.
I fully agree with you, Davey. This game is going to threaten to get away from Ratoath. They are 111 to 7 points down, and Trim are just chipping away with these frees, getting scores here and there. Ratoath are finding it difficult to get on the scoreboard. They really need to turn it around, Davey. They need to get possibly a goal. They need to get a couple of points on the board in the next 5 to 6 minutes, because if they don't, Trim are going to spread this lead out a little bit more.
They sure are, and James Murray will attempt to do so by making it an 8-point game now. Up onto the sticking and then cuts across that left to right. He's just so in control of what he's doing, Colin.
Yeah, and there's great confidence of the lads around him. You see, they don't even put too many lads in and around the square. They're just out in their positions for the next puck out, because they know automatically if James has a chance, it's probably going to go over the bar.
And over the bar it has gone. 8 between the sides now, and the wind and rain just picking up all the time, really. Long ball into space. Dahi McGowan is playing a lot closer to goal, where he's joining his brother Gavin. Gavin showing him where he wants it. Still Dahi McGowan, then just plays it across towards Gavin McGowan, and it's broken down well. Is there a chance for Ratoath there? Trim back in numbers. Gavin McGowan has it, and he's trying to burst through. Gavin McGowan, was he held back? Stephen Masterson said he was charging, so it's going to be a free out. I like the idea, but probably the right call in the end as well.
It's one of those 50-50 ones, Davey. One referee might call that he's been held, the other might say he was charging. On the balance of it, I'd say that's probably the right decision. I probably would have made that decision myself, but I've seen those penalties been given, so big call there from the referee.
Yeah, they do tend to favour defenders though in those scenarios, so it's probably more of a 60-40, 70-30 in favour of the defenders, and they've got this one. But Ratoath are still trying to, they're going a bit more direct now, and they're putting it into the Twin Towers. Dahi and Gavin McGowan, and here goes Dahi. Really got to go for a goal now. Dahi McGowan! Oh, what a save by Charlie Ennis! How does he do it? That is an incredible stop. He made an unbelievable stop from Nicky Potterton in the latter stages down here in the semi-final 2 weeks ago. That was just as good. Maybe not as meaningful at this point in time, but you just never know. What an incredible save, Colin.
Unbelievable, Davey. And we saw the confidence there from Garrod Crowley to shake off the mistake he made in the first half. And Charlie Ennis, he just shook off that mistake that he made about 5 minutes ago and pulled off that incredible save. But I like the idea of Ratoath putting in Dahi McGowan in there, along with Gavin McGowan. Get the ball into them. Get the ball into them nice and high, nice and early. They probably have that physical power in there. Good to see Neely Heffernan coming on there for Trim.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see Neely Heffernan coming on in place of Mikey Cole, who's put in a really good shift for Jimmy Canty's men, and it will be left with Heffernan to assume responsibility in there for the final. What have we, 12 and a half minutes plus stoppage time. There's a man down receiving treatment. That's Ben Holden from Trim, just getting back to his feet. But Dahi McGowan really couldn't have done too much more than what he did with that last opportunity. He was tight for space, got a great shot in. It was top corner bound, but Charlie Ennis with the flying hurl somehow made an incredible stop. So it's going to be Podge O'Hanlon to try and tag on a score from the resultant 65. They're going to need lots more of that. They trail by 8, 112 to 7. This is a chance to narrow the deficit down to 7. And McGowan, once again, not his best of strikes, but it drops fine over the crossbar, and he's got another one. Ratoath of 8, and they need to try and put the full press on Trim now.
Yeah, I know there's 4 McGowans there, Davey, but Podge certainly isn't one of them. You keep calling them McGowan, but it's Podge O'Hanlon there that sticks it over.
Would you believe?
Is that where it comes from? Yeah. So a good score from Podge O'Hanlon. Yeah, they need a couple of more as well. But from Trim, they have a bit of firepower off the bench as well. They have Bean O'Dowell in there as well, who might come on. He was unlucky not to start today. Mickey Cullen came in for him, so he might feature. I see him warming up here in the sideline under us.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, Podge McGowan doesn't play hurling, and Podge O'Hanlon does play the two codes, so we'll try and differentiate with them. But Podge O'Hanlon has been really, really impressive for Ratoath. Probably their best player on the day, it has to be said. Here's Bryony McMahon, really elusive, classic sort of pirouette turn from McMahon. We've seen it time and time again in a football jersey as well, and he's just coughed up possession momentarily, and that was good play by Alan Douglas back there as well. It was a nice ball played inside by Joey Cole. Heffernan tries to get his first touch, wrestled out of the way by Conor Ward, and not sure was he caught late there, but James Murray has possession back. He's got 2, 3, 4 Ratoath men, but somehow finds a way out. James Andrews lets that over his head, but it's okay, and it's there for Kieran O'Rourke. Kieran O'Rourke will just spoon it back to Andrews. Andrews from a long, long way out, losing his footing there on the inside, and possibly a little bit of cramp setting in as well. Those Trim players have worked tirelessly, and I think that's a consequence of what they've done. It's a really sloppy ball just given away by Ratoath and not helping their cause. Oh, that's just a trip, I think, in the end. He was caught late there. Cian Rogers was the man. I think Stephen Masterson is content to let it go, and in fairness to Stephen Masterson, must be said, he's had a really good game. He's let the game go, hasn't been really nitpicking on anything in particular, and I think for his first final he's done really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the key thing there, Davey, as players all you want is communication. You can see Stephen Masterson there telling Alan Douglas what he has the issue with there, and that's all the players want. He hasn't been flashing yellow cards or anything like that. He sent the yellow card when it's necessary, but yeah, really solid game here from Stephen Masterson. Again, communication there with James Toher. I do see Bean O'Dowler warming up here underneath us, so he will come on to try and make a difference.
Yeah, he started the last day. Would have been disappointed not to have started today, because he did well in that win in the semi-final, and he's going to come on in place of Mikey Cullen, who has worked hard, and he's injury stricken now, Mikey Cullen, so Beano Dowling on in place of him. It's again a like for like change really. Beano Dowling, very direct, very selfless sort of player, and he's going to come on for the last knockouts of this game. Meanwhile, we're going to have that free on his own 65 for James Murray, and he's going to attempt to stretch the lead out further once more. Murray strikes it, striking across it. That one might just tail off to the right and wide. It's actually kept in the end. Really good play by Douglas, and it's back to Andrews over the shoulder. Andrews goes for the score, but again it's dropped harmlessly in. It hasn't even gone out. It's kept in by Garrod Crowley. Crowley drives it long once again. Again, it beats the attentions of everyone, and that was surely a hand on the back. Has to be said, James Tower's reading of the game column has been brilliant. His positional play has been top notch in this game.
Absolutely, it always has been, and the football as well, Davey. You've seen it on the football field. He reads the game really well. Intelligent player, generally always makes the right decision. He never really drives the ball into space or on top of anyone, you know. He always tries to make the right decision, and he's had a really, really solid game here today. And maybe if Ratoath had maybe dragged him out of position a little bit more, maybe they would have got a better chance.
Beano Dowling with his first touch has been penalised for over carrying the ball, and Mikey Cullen coming off, he's put in some shift, and he's delighted with his work, and Jimmy Canty is thrilled with his players' application as well throughout the hour, or the guts of the hour. Ratoath still huffing and puffing trying to get that goal. Gavin McGowan still trying to burrow his way through, but yet again Trim standing up, and they've been magnificent in that defensive third. Still there though for Cian Rogers. Cian Rogers, loose connection over on the far side, but referee lets the play go with Dylan Farrell clearing his lines. It's there for Ratoath once more. The trail by 1-12-8, and shot coming in from, I think it's Dara Kelly, is it possibly? Dara Kelly with the score, makes it 1-12-9. The gap is down to 6 again. That's what it was at half time, but they only have 7 minutes left to try and pull it back.
Yeah, it's going to be a key 7 minutes. I have to say, I am impressed with the maturity of the Trim team. There's a lot, quite a young lads there, maybe don't have the experience. Obviously it's mixed in with the likes of Toher and Douglas as well, but a lot of those young lads, they're very calm here. They're used to being in the lead probably from underage, etc. So just as I say that, the ball given away
by Alan Douglas of all people, and it's driven long. Is it going to come inside? It's not. It's gone to the left and wide. Another chance goes a begging for Ratoath, and I was just looking there at Dahi McGowan, and he was one-on-one, you know, and he has a huge height advantage over Ben Holden, and you kind of have to try and utilise that when you get the chance to.
Absolutely, and we saw earlier on he plucked that ball out of the air and he forced that incredible save out of Charlie Ennis. So yeah, I know they have a strong wind. I know Derek Kelly can score from any angle, but maybe they need a goal at this stage, Davy, and maybe getting the ball into Dahi McGowan is the right way to do it.
Absolutely, and they've given away yet another free here, and this is just meat and drink really to James Murray, who's standing on the 65, and he's going to attempt to strike this one over and put 7 between the sides once more. There's about 6 minutes of normal time plus whatever stoppage time is added by Stephen Masterson at the end of this game. Martin Dawson just indicating where he wants James Murray to take this one from. And Murray steps up to strike it, dropping dangerously in and around the goals, and Crowley was really commanding with that. He even has time to take a little look around him to see where the attentions were. Good goalkeeping, it must be said, by Crowley, who's done extremely well since that error in the first half. Ratoath still trying to penetrate up the other end, but it has to be said, Trim's defending time and time again has been nothing short of magnificent, and that ball is just lofted into the air. It's there for Ratoath, and it's there for Ben McGowan, but Andrews takes a heavy hit. Referee's content to let it play, and it's picked up by none other than James Murray. Another hit coming in, and he's going to be done for steps here, I would imagine. Not sure what Stephen Masterson is indicating here, but he stayed down. Maybe took a blow to the head possibly on that occasion, but he's down on the flat of his back, and that's not one you like to see. He's not the type of player to stay down, Colin.
Yeah, I hope he's okay, Davey. I actually thought that was good refereeing by Masterson, that there were 2 fair challenges, particularly the one, it was shoulder to shoulder that went in on James Murray, certainly from our viewpoint here up in the stand. But James Murray did go down quite heavily, and he did stay down, so possibly there might have been one of those where the shoulder is into the chin or something like that we can't see from here, but it looks like he'll be okay, and maybe the ball thrown in.
Yeah, so throw ball or possibly a Ratoath ball. We shall just wait and see what happens. Thankfully Murray is back up onto his knees at least, and Pa Ryan, he's a bit of a cult hero. He's come from Tipperary naturally with a name like that, but he's really fitted in, and you heard the response there when he went to warm up from the trim paint.
Absolutely, a couple of young lads there really like the sight of that. Pa is a good, lovely hurler, lovely skillful hurler as well, so what a great man to bring on in the county final.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to see Pa Ryan very soon. 4 minutes of normal time left to play, plus a bit of stoppage time. I think even at this stage they were told, well, they're sending out Podge O'Hanlon to take this. I think the ball's actually going to be brought up as well, so I'm not sure what went on there in between.
I think Alan Douglas might have said something to Stephen Masterson. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely saw Stephen Masterson giving Alan Douglas a yellow card. I think it was Alan Douglas anyway, so maybe just some back chat after it. Maybe not happy with that challenge that went in on James Murray, so that was the reason it was brought up.
There is still time. There's about 3.5 minutes, plus I would say we're going to have 4 or 5 minutes of injury time, so O'Hanlon should be happy enough to just put this one over the bar if he can do so, and he has done just that. The aim will be to get this back to 3 points, I would say, Colin, and then try and force the goal.
Absolutely. The management will say, listen, there's no need to panic here at all. You hear the Ratoath crowd here getting behind their team, which is the way they should be doing it. But interestingly, Podge O'Hanlon, he was very influential in the first half, maybe a little bit quieter here in the second half, so maybe Ratoath identified him as someone who needs to keep quiet, and they have been able to do that, but he'll still be trying to get on the end of these balls and add a few more scores here to the scoreboard.
Tim have all importantly got possession. It's risky though, but Alan Douglas has it and he launches it goalwards. That's great defending back there by Ratoath, and it's just ushered forward. McMahon makes the run. It's picked up by Murray. None too untoward after that ball. Dimmy Higgins inside towards Dowling. Dowling just trying to get it up onto his stick. He tried his hardest to do so. He's still fighting for it over there, and Trim just about managed to maintain possession with the number 8 Dylan Farrell. Playing it forward now towards Murray once again, but Ratoath have it back in with O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon then launches it long. Toher is backtracking. I think it's going to be Toher, but it would almost back here in O'Rourke too, but just about retained. Oh my word, Charlie Ennis has gone through to. He'll be grateful for that, and he plays it off towards Douglas, but maybe I was going to say Trim might be getting a little bit nervous here in the closing stages. Andrews has done well to pick that up, but he's given it away again. It's still there for Trim with Conor Quigley. Lovely play by Conor Quigley. Great hands, and in towards Big Neely Heffernan. Feeds it forward now towards David Murtagh. Murtagh trying to beat Conor McGill. Heffernan is in there. Still Neely Heffernan. Heffernan over the shoulder. Heffernan with the score. Feed the Hef and he will score.
They certainly will, Davy. Great to see Hef back on the field. Obviously had issues with illness and that. He's come on, he's tried to get his fitness back. He certainly looked sharp here today. If he can get the ball in the hand, Davy, he's so desperate. And he's another big game player as well. We've seen him score goals in Croke Park. We've seen him score goals for Meath and Trim for many years. So delighted for the Hef getting on the scoreboard here.
Listen to the ovation for Pa Ryan. Certainly a cult hero in and around the Trim club, and he's probably going to get another ovation because the referee has told him to go back and come back on. But there's 6 between the sides, 113 to 110. We have a minute of normal time left to play in what's looking like it's going to be Trim's Jubilee Cup yet again. But Ratoath will still fight to the bitter end, but James Murray will strike this one from downtown Park Talton. James Murray just goes to the right and it goes wide. So 6 it remains, and now we can see Pa Ryan. He's going to come on in place of David Murtagh. Some response.
Absolutely, Pa Ryan obviously loved here by the Trim faithful. And is that David Murtagh coming off? He'll get a nice round of applause as well. But just one man to mention here, Davey, is Mark Malloy, the man who's been sick here, who would be playing here today. There's no doubt. All the lads mentioned that he's a key man for them. They all miss him out here. His brother, who should be playing, who is sick, he will be here today, no doubt about it, supporting on the lads. But very sad for him that he can't be here, but we wish him the best as he recovers from his illness.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. Trim looking like they're going to do it for Malloy. McGill back there knocks it back to Crowley. We are into injury time. We haven't heard as of yet what's going to be added, but there's 6 between the sides and barring some late drama, which Ratoath are trying to force. That was wonderful defending once again by Trim. They're putting their bodies on the line, and I have to say Tower once more comes out of the crowd time and time again, gets the free, and he's had some game.
He's had an incredible game, really, Davey. He's controlled everything, and in the crucial last 15 minutes, maybe when Ratoath had a bit more possession, a bit of a purple patch, he's come out with ball and ball again every time, and he's always intelligent with the play. That time gives it the old fist bump there after he wins a free. He probably knows that that's a key play there as they see out this game. Absolutely.
4 minutes of injury time to be added, and that free has gone short, and it's up towards Dahi McGowan, trying to wrestle for possession, and flicked forward by Jack McGowan, but Dahi can't get it. Looked like it could have been a free out to Trim, and still there could be a free out. We have played a minute of stoppage time, so there's still 3 to go. 6 between the sides. Only goals are going to save Ratoath now, and that ball is going to be thrown in by Stephen Masterson now.
Yeah, exactly. They need to get everyone in the box, really, I suppose, at this stage. Need to get a goal, need to then win the next puck out and get the ball into the square again. So desperation time here for Ratoath.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to try and force the issue now. McMahon just lofts it goalwards. It's a decent one in there, but Trim once more resolute and brave and courageous back there, and here it's going to be a free in, I think, actually. So maybe they will get that chance of a goal. This is surely going to be punted goalwards.
Maybe a lifeline for Ratoath, Davey. I think in fairness to Stephen Masterson, he gave the decision previously where he gave a free out, where one of the Ratoath lads was trying to drive in towards goal, and maybe he said on that occasion, well, the Trim man was trying to drive out there, so I have to give the similar free. So I wouldn't have an issue with being a free in there from Stephen Masterson.
Yeah. So double change for Trim. Coming on is Ian Birmingham and Gary Fleming, and coming off is James Andrews and Ben Holden as well. They've put some shifts in. That goal from Andrews in the first half, all important at this stage of the game. It's going to be O'Hanrahan. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Trim men on the line. Podge O'Hanrahan with the chance. Podge O'Hanrahan with the goal. Podge O'Hanrahan with the goal, Colm. And there's still about 2 minutes left to go here. It's a 3-point game.
I tell you, it was a dodgy strike from Podger Hanrahan. He didn't strike it well at all. Maybe some of the previous frees we saw that the striking wasn't 100%. It was poor, it was kind of dribbling on the ground, but it was a tough one. This game's not over, Davey.
What is it about these two sides? They just produce drama and drama and drama. And possession is up for grabs, and it's absolutely crucial. So it's going to be thrown in. We have played 33 minutes. There was 4 allocated minutes, but there was a little bit of a stoppage in play. Eamon Barry is trying to usher the substitutes out, and the ball is with Ratoath, and McGowan is just pulling that loosely. Toher's watching it all the way through. Needs to clear his lines. Plays it up towards Pa Ryan now. Pa Ryan feeds it forward in turn towards Jerry Dwan. James Murray has been fouled, and it's a free for Trim. And look at the emotion from Murray and the response from the Trim faithful. They're almost there, Colm.
And you have to give them credit there for seeing out the game, Davey. Again, James Toher picking up that position. Again, the calm head, finding the intelligent ball. And James Murray, what a game from him, Davey. Gets on the ball, wins that free. If he can finish this off, it'll be a fantastic performance from him.
It will, and it'll give you food for thought for your man of the match in a couple of moments' time, of which there's been a few outstanding performers for Trim. He hasn't struck that one at all well, Murray, and it's gone wide. The 4 minutes have been played. Ratoath are going to have another chance because it's hooked out to Cian Rogers. This is going to go into the mixer. Long one down from Rogers. Here we go. Played inside. Not really dealt with. Jack McGowan is going to get to that, I think. And it's Trim back there defending resolutely. Stephen Masterson has the whistle in his mouth. Is he going to blow it? It's there for Trim. They've cleared the lines right across over on the sideline. It's gone out, so maybe Ratoath are going to have one more chance.
Yeah, 4.5, but coming up to 5 minutes on the clock here. All the Trim crowd standing on their feet. All the camera phones out here to record the final whistle.
It's all over. It's all over. Trim are the champions again. They've done it again. Huge scenes of celebration. Ratoath on their knees. They fought to the bitter end, but undoubtedly Colm O'Muelloge, the better side won in the end. Trim are the champions.
No question about it, Davey. From the very start of this game, they were sharper. I thought maybe the physicality of Ratoath might have told here today with the conditions, but no, Ratoath gave it everything, driving into every ball. Fantastic bit of skill we saw on display from the likes of Murray, but great defending as well. Never really gave Ratoath the sniff. A lot of the Ratoath lads never really got time on the ball, got space at all, so really credit to Trim. Fantastic performance of them. Ratoath to be disappointed, Davey. A lot of their lads that they would rely on throughout the years maybe just didn't play as well as they would have over the years, but they reach another final. It is disappointing for them, but you have to give credit to Trim. They're a fantastic hurling club, obviously football as well, but they did win the minor earlier on today. They add that senior to it. It's an excellent double for them.
Unbelievable day for Trim, unbelievable double for Trim. Minors and seniors, and I think it's an ominous sort of sign for the future that this Trim club is just going from strength to strength, and this isn't the end. It's only really the beginning of possibly what could be a little bit of dominance in the coming years.
Absolutely, David. We were chatting to James Andrews there, and or John Andrews and Fergal Lynch there, going through the Trim team about how young they were. A lot of these lads 19, 20, 21, and even the older lads are around that 29, 30 mark. So the likes of Dougie and Toher, they're probably just the far side of, or just around the 30 mark, so they're not even that old. And they have obviously the minor team coming through as well. Under 21, they'd be very strong as well, so you have to give them credit for the conveyor belt of talent that they're after bringing through, and this will help them as well. It'll only help them. All these young lads you see here around with their heroes, they'll want to emulate them, they'll want to play for Trim and win more championships for Trim.
And for Ratoath, I suppose they have a chance of a reprieve next Sunday when they go in search of a Keegan Cup, another one. It's a blow because there was a lot of talk about this double which hasn't been done in some 40 years. They just didn't perform the best today, and they left their run a little bit too late in the day as well.
They did, and I suppose throughout the year, Davey, the form really hasn't been with Ratoath on the hurling team. Maybe it was a bit of a surprise that they did get to the final, but I'll credit them to get to the final. It will be tough for them, Davey. The likes of Bobby O'Brien, Keane Rogers, Dahi McGowan, Gavin McGowan, all the lads to pick themselves up. Conor McGill, Brian McMahon as well. It'll be difficult for them. They'll need to shake this off. They'll need to focus on the football. But you have to give them credit as a club to get to the final and to even have the double on the cards is very, very impressive, and a credit to everyone who's worked to get those two teams to the final. So they'll be disappointed, no doubt, today. They haven't got that elusive senior hurling championship, which they probably would have liked to have gotten. They might have thought they could have 2 or 3 in the bank after having reached a few finals and semi-finals over the years. But they'll be fine, they'll be back. They have a lot of talent coming through as well, but it is Trim's day at the end of the day.
Absolutely. We'll have the presentation momentarily, but before, I want to get your man of the match. Talk me through the contenders and your decision. I don't envy you.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough one. I think you know probably where I'm going to lean with between two certain lads. But in terms of going through the team, I thought Ger Dewan had a really solid game in the second half. He did have his hands full with Gavin McGowan in the first half, but he stuck to his plan. He did get booked and he kept his discipline, did really well, so really good game from him. Ben Holden as well, very solid in the cornerback. He kept Bobby O'Brien very quiet as well, and Keane Rogers as well was kept quiet as well. Kieran O'Rourke, a very, very solid game from him, as always, really, at wing back. James Andrews, I thought he worked very hard. He broke up a lot of the play, did get that goal as well. Mikey Cullen came in off the bench, wasn't due to start. He didn't start the semi-final, came on, started, and he was really effective. Really that out ball for him. Really good game from him. The two Coles probably a little bit of their quieter game. Dougie as well was in and out of the game, but there was two standouts really on the Trim side, Davy, and I think you know where I'm going with this. The two lads who stood out were James Murray and James Toher, the two Jameses. James Murray, what a display of skill from him, from sidelines, from frees, and also from play. But to be honest, it's very difficult for me to look past the performance that James Toher put in today. Really controlled the game well, did everything from centre back at crucial times as well. He's been involved, kind of getting involved in working on the team and strategy and training and stuff like that, and he's led as a captain's role here today. So I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I'm going to give James Toher the man of the match here today.
We'll see what the county board agree in a couple of minutes time, and whether or not you've got it spot on or not. One thing that is sure is James Toher is the Trim captain, and he is going to receive the Jubilee Cup momentarily. So we'll cross for the presentation now, Colin.
Absolutely, and Davey is probably going to go down and try and get a few interviews there for the We Are Meath podcast, which you can find on all your podcast stations and obviously on Patreon as well, where you'll hear some of the interviews from today. We will hang on here for the presentation for all the Trim faithful that will want to see the presentation and see the speech. We had some great couple of focal Oscuelga from the minor captain of the Trim team earlier today, and I'm sure we'll get a nice speech from James today. Just on the Ratoath team, probably didn't go the way for a lot of lads. Porrick O'Hanrahan, what a performance from him, always battled hard throughout the game. I thought Ben McGowan had a really good second half. He came into the game well. Keane Kelly and Conor McGill, I thought two solid games from them. Kept the two Colds fairly quiet throughout the game. And Gavin McGowan battled hard in the first half, but had a good battle from between Ger Dewan in the second half as well. So disappointment for Ratoath, elation for Trim as they pull off the double. There'll be some crack down in Leanahans and Marcy's and Lynch's later on today as they celebrate that win. And it was James Murray who was given man of the match, and you have to say you can't question that decision. What a performance James Murray had here today. He does get the official man of the match as we gave it to James Toher, but well deserved from James Murray. What a player he is. Fantastic day for him. Thanks to CJ Murtagh, who is going to present the trophy, I imagine. And again, as we prepare for James Toher to lift this cup, it's Martin O'Halloran there just saying a couple of words.
I'd like to thank our referee, Stephen Matheson, the two linesmen and his umpires. I'd also like to thank all the referees who took part in our county final this particular weekend. So it'd be very good if we could put your hands together for all those referees. I'd also like to thank thank the Lovely and his team for all the hard work they did during the year in getting referees for all our games at all levels across the county. And I would also like to say to all of the across county leagues, we need more referees. So if anybody thinks they can actually do as good a job as any of our referees over this weekend, we'd be all delighted to see you later in the year. There are a number of courses. Referees are needed badly in order to league, and we do need you. I'd just like to thank our season team for all the work they've done during the year in getting matches played on time. I don't think we lost any of our games all year, and it's a credit to the team and all the team of the CCC. So thanks very much. And I know sometimes we'll be giving out about our stewards and different things like that. We'll be telling us where to sit and where not to sit. But I can tell you, we would not be able to hold our games here in Park Coughlin or anywhere else without the help of our stewards. And great work once again this weekend for Jimmy Cooney, Jim Lane and all the rest of the stewards. So thanks a lot for that. They're volunteering. They're very valuable time. Go on them. And just I want to thank the PR committee here on Flynn, as you know, the programs are getting better year in, year out. And I really doubt anywhere around the country does any county produce as high a quality of a match program as we do. So good on with Kieran and the PR committee. Short sponsor, CJ Murphy, and of course everybody knows CJ. I just quoted in the program where he said that he's been sponsoring the Meath Senior Hurling Championship for the last 14 years. Something that we're particularly grateful for. But CJ Murphy and the Murphy family have been supporting Meath GAA for over 50 years. CJ, we're extremely grateful for your support. And today's game, Ratoath, you were part of a very exciting game in very, very difficult circumstances. We wish you well in the big game coming next Sunday. I hope you keep promoting hurling in Ratoath the way you are. You're underage, and I absolutely know that in the future we'll see you here winning the Meath Senior Hurling Championship. So keep at it, and the best of luck to you next Sunday. All the day it has been for Tim Hurling to come here to win another in the Senior Championship. There's been an awful lot of hard work done over the years in developing underage hurling, and the fruit of that is now being seen here today. So those people who have been promoting underage hurling, we benefit greatly in County Meath. All our county team, all our teams, right across, have all benefited by club players. So congratulations on your worthy winners today. So on behalf of the Hurling Promotion and Development Committee, it is a great honour for me to present the Jubilee Cup to Captain of Ferma, James Ferma.
Officials, everyone involved, thanks very much. All the other last days, the rituals, schools could be, so thanks for that. Steve, Stephen and your officials, great job. Naturally, we should have some call, but only for you, we will get a bit of game, and thanks to all the referees. There's there seems to be something about Trim with no finals that just no team would get anything straight. So all I can do is wish you the best of luck in the football, and whatever we have many matches in the early season to come. So well done to your goal, and thanks for your best. To our own management team, Jimmy, Sandwich, Joyce, look, there was a complication at the start of the year, but three boys stepped up and they both needed to be done, so thanks for putting the arm over the shoulder and taking care of us. On a very serious note, everything good about this team and the attitude that we have can be seen in a man that should have been playing today, but only for him. He came into the dressing room before the game and he had a few words he said, guys, and it weighed on his heavy, so everything good, all the attributes, and never given up, consistency, all came from Mark Malloy. He should be the man standing up here today. So.
Cheer for Mark Malloy there. Tributes paid to him by James Soher, the man who is suffering with leukemia, so we wish him all the best, and some things are bigger than sport, and that is one of them.
We talked in a meeting today, we owe to a lot of people for everything they put into us, and this is the only way we can repay the supporters and the families and the friends of everybody that's here. So I know as well, I can speak on behalf of the players, that everyone out there has done it for everybody that's up in the stand today. Thanks very much. I'm sure we'll come into you later on tonight and use that what we should have done. Thanks a million.
Congratulations to Trim, commiserations to Ratoath. Trim are the 2022 Senior Hurling Champions, sponsored by CJ Murtagh, and thank you all for watching here on the Ideal Bathrooms Meath GAA TV.